All right, all right, all right. I
Good
thought
morning.
this was a figure mentorship.
8 figures?
Why not?
Let's make the adjustment immediately.
With the amount of knowledge that we give out, anybody has the potential to become an eight or higher figure, right?
There you go. You heard it here first, folks. How are you doing today, Bob? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing great. Had a a decent workout. I am on a little bit of a strict diet right now because of my health and everything. So, um, I don't have as much energy as I normally do, and I can't eat everything. So I have to take it a little easy on the exercises. But feeling good, feeling really good. Mr. Fazio, good morning, buddy. Eduardo, Carolyn, Roger, good morning, everyone.
Morning, Bob. You see my text message?
I did, thank you.
Yes.
I don't know where that came from. I have not sent any messages out to anybody from that system, as far as I know, but I'll double check again.
Okay. Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Um, I don't know where they got your number. Somebody got your number. They've been messaging you. It looks like you haven't sent out any messages, but they've been messaging you.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that afterwards.
Good morning, Dan.
What's up, brother?
How are you doing today?
I'm tired today, honestly.
Long night?
But yeah, one of my friends he came down to Miami. So we went out to dinner last night with Mr. ACQ, Mr. Juan Acasio.
There
How's he
you go.
doing? I've heard from him in a while.
He's doing well. He's doing well. But yeah, we went to a sushi restaurant and up in Aventura, and yeah, we had a little bit too much sake.
Yeah, that's exactly what I need to hear right now. Is sushi and sake.
Poor Bob. Yeah. These guys are weird.
I'm in a
Sushi
doghouse,
juice
but
for
yeah,
days.
Jesus, it's horrible.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
food was horrible last night. I just want you to know it was
Oh,
absolutely awful.
But the
yeah,
sake was good.
Yeah,
I can taste it.
yeah. Sake was horrible. Restaurant experience was horrible. Not worth it at all. You're not missing out on anything, Bob.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. We've got AB and the one and only Matt Riley in here too. I got a good deal that I'm in doubt to acquire. The agent don't want the contract to be assigned. Anyways, if double close, I think that I will still have a good margin. The hassle is worth it. P- PML pay the first closing on a 165 house, maybe a 10K, but I think the assignment can be 3 to 5 times that. Is it worth it? So are you saying that the your assignment fee would be 30 to 50K? And if so, the double end would cost you at 165 probably around anywhere between 17 to $3,400. You pay an extra $3,400 to make 30 to 50,000. That's a you decision, my friend. I would take that, but I don't know.
He really said pictures, bro.
Oh wow. Eduardo, I can help you with that if you need it, as far as that transaction is concerned. Or you can reach out to any gator as well.
I have a large Miami deal on the table
Oh yeah?
for seller finance. It's 22 property portfolio.
Ooh.
Okay. Free and
Yeah,
clear, huh?
yeah. Um, he wants 50% in cash though, down
Oof.
payment. Yeah, but he's offering 5% interest, so it's not crazy. All the properties together all produce about $98,000 a month in total income.
How much is
What's he asking
50%
for?
down?
Huh?
Go ahead, Bob.
Same question. I asked how much what's the asking price, and John
Uh,
asked what's the 50%.
he wants 12 million for all of them, and he's asking for 6 million down. Probably negotiable, but
Is
he
that
wants
his?
half cash and half financed.
Are they listed or off market?
No, off market.
Okay. And have you guys I'm sure you've done your due diligence as far as ARVs. Is his
They
uh
won't release information about the property until you send in proof of finances to be able to purchase.
okay.
So you have to send in proof of funds, and what else does he want? He wanted like a non-disclosure agreement signed.
Yeah, they all do. Okay.
Yeah,
How much you got to have in the bank?
6 million. I'm guessing that's what he wants to see. He wants to see you have the cash for the 6 million. Probably a little bit more than that,
Yeah, you need
but
to have more.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I just don't like the 50%.
yeah,
That really I mean, at 50%, you can go get a loan yourself and have to put down 20%, 30%. Why would I want to give 50% up?
yeah. I guess it's just because he's. I mean, because I feel like if he was offering a more favorable interest rate, be interested, but
Like 0%?
like 3%. Because
How about
normally
if
they
we give
offer
him
3%.
how about if we give him the 50% down but over time? We'll give you 10% now and the remainder,
Where's
spread.
Mr. Where's Mr. Matt Riley to talk about something
Yeah,
like this? This
Where's Mister Seller Finance?
this is this is
Yeah,
him.
he was in here.
Fifty
Oh, there he
percent
is.
down, you have
He's here.
35% discount. It might be 35% discount of the amount. That's the thing is like I don't really know because he won't release the information regarding the property. So it's very well that it could be.
Man
Dun
of the
dun
hour.
dun.
There he is.
We got the makeup on
Dun
and
dun
everything.
dun. I've been having a lot of cash conversations lately. More than I'd like to have. Um, yeah, I would need it. I've been dealing with it with sellers or agents that are like, we only want traditional or cash. And it's like, all right, well, you probably don't want cash, I imagine, because you don't understand what a real cash offer needs to be. Um, But for 50% down, you need a discount because you're going to want to pull, you got to be able to pull a majority of your money back out, and you're probably going to borrow some money too. So I would probably need it at least at a 35% discount if we're doing 50% down. So that way I can get my money back out of the back end. I'm not doing
Yeah.
regular cash wholesale. No way. I
So
got a
how's
proof of
that?
funds for you for 9 million though, if you need it.
What'd you say,
There
Matt?
you go.
I said, I got a proof of funds for you if you need it. 9 mil.
Let's go. Let's go. You heard what he said? Hit his
Not
line.
for me. Not for me, for my business partner.
So
Yeah, I'm messaging a guy. I'm seeing like I'm trying to just see if it's even because I don't know. Miami works different. It's really about like long term plays down here.
Which part of Miami is it?
I have no idea. Like that's the thing. Like they
Oh,
can't.
there's not even like you can't even decipher where it is.
Correct.
not giving any information.
No information.
Hmm.
to be on the outskirts of Miami, so you're going to seller finance this thing with 50% down. It's not even going to exist in 6 years.
Yeah, he said he's not. That's the thing, Roger. He said he's not going to get that. He's not going to give that until you commit to, trying to move forward. So
This is on market or off market?
off
Off.
market.
Always off, always off. Not off poopnet.com.
I just got a text. Literally like an hour before this call. Someone just like who's kind of representing him on the deal. So they just are texting people in their that like their clients that they've worked with before in the past. She's just texting people that she thinks might be interested. So she texted me literally like an hour before this call. So the amount of information that I have is like very limited.
See, that's what happens when people see you in that Miami penthouse. They start.
Right?
They're like,
Yeah,
oh,
I was like, how much money do you think I have? It's like you might be confusing me with somebody
like
else.
similar to winning the lotto, and all of a sudden you start getting cousins and aunts and uncles that you didn't even know you had reaching out. Oh, remember me?
No, I literally was joking with my buddy last night. I said the next relationship that I'm in, I said I'm going into it with the idea that I have no money. So I'm getting an Airbnb. I'm taking them back to to an Airbnb in a bad part of town. You're gonna have to like me for me.
You got to go pads. Don't even go Airbnb. Go pad
Ad
split.
Red
splits.
split. Oh,
Yeah,
love it.
go pad split.
I said, I said, whoever meets me now moving forward, I don't have any money. I'm sorry, I have none.
I got
Hey,
nada.
Michael asks, how do you commit to something that you have no information on? He's not asking for a commitment yet. He just
Yeah,
wants to make sure that you're real.
right.
You're a player. That's all. So once they see
Yeah.
that, they can release the information to you.
Common on the commercial side. At least bare minimum, you'll have to sign an NDA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said. Non-disclosure and proof of funds.
Yep, bare minimum.
I've got
Patrick
a,
Patrick.
asked, "Whoa, hey, buddy."
what up?
Patrick asked, "Did $115,000 sales price creative finance 30 business day closing, 15 business day due? Due diligence. $100 earnest money, $10,000 down, $400 monthly, 1% interest rate, 10-year balloon." But then he asked, "What do you think about that deal with regards to the sales price?" I think we need more information in that situation. A lot of times, and I get it, people will reach out to me and to us, I'm sure, and they'll send over terms. Yes, I just had one. I gotta have another one of those.
You're good.
Where they will send just like that. They'll just send blanket terms. Here's the sales price. Here's the interest rate. Here's the monthly payment. Is this a good deal? And nobody can say yes or no if that's a good deal or not without knowing more information. I have no idea. Is that $115,000 purchase price on a $2,000 house? I have no idea. Where's the market? What's the exit strategy on this thing? Are you flipping it? Are you renting it? Or what? We need a lot more information in that sense to say if it's a good deal or not, or at least to give input on that structure.
Yeah, most people think that, you know, if they have the terms down, then it's a deal. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
half the deal, you
Yeah.
know. The other half is what's your exit strategy? What are you planning on doing with it once you get it under contract? Just like any other deal, right? Doesn't matter
Correct.
if it's creative or cash or whatever. You have
Yeah.
to know what you're going to do with that property afterwards. So
Yeah.
it could be a great deal or it could be a bust. We don't know,
That's
like
a good way of
Matt
putting
said.
it. Like the same way that you look at any other deal is how you should look at creative. Like creative is not just, oh, because it's creative, we can make it whatever the beauty of it is, yeah, you can move numbers around. You're in control of your own deal and structuring it. But just because it's 1% interest rate or whatever doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, it's a good deal now because I got 0% interest rate or whatever it is. You still have to look at it the same way that you would look at any other deal. You need to understand what's the ARV? Does it need rehab? What's my total all-in entry cost? What am I doing with this property? The same way that you would do a cash wholesale, the same way that you would do, any other type of purchase or sale. Creative is the same deal. You can still get into a bad deal with creative. A lot of people think that because you can move the numbers around, you can get yourself out of a bad deal, or it's impossible to create a bad deal. When in reality, that's never. It's almost easier to get in a bad deal on creative because there is no, regulation. There's no bank saying, okay, 20% down. There's an appraisal taking place, and if it doesn't appraise for this, we're only loaning you this. There's none of those things exist in creative, so you can absolutely get yourself into a bad deal almost easier.
This is the kind of information that you, ladies and gentlemen, can pick up on a weekly or maybe bi-weekly basis. If yeah,
Oh.
oh, that's cute.
Look at that bum. Absolute bum.
That's a nice sun to be laying in.
I
You
am
seem to,
jealous. I'm sitting over here in the dark and she's soaking up all the sun over here.
yeah.
Yeah, lack of a war chest will eat a creative deals lunch. Yeah, I mean, I'll get the rest of the terms and where's the deals going. I think it was a really good deal with the info, but I'll check out what am I doing with this property is the main question. Yeah, I mean, I think if you don't even know what you're doing with the property, while like it's probably I'm just gonna guess that it's probably not a good deal. Only because for me, the way that I do my numbers or the way that I structure it, I need to know what I'm doing with the property first. So if I'm looking at a deal, whether the purchase price is already in front of me or I need to come up with a purchase price and terms, first and foremost, I can't give you terms if I don't know what my terms are on my side in terms of what am I getting for rent? Am I doing a long-term rent? Am I doing Section 8? Am I doing short-term? Whatever I need to figure out all of those numbers first, figure out what my potential expenses are going to be. So management, is it a 10% management? Is it short-term rental? So now it's probably 15 to 25% management. Is it going to be pad split? So now we're going to have to put work into the property in order to get it pad split ready. All of those expenses, maintenance expenses, vacancy, I need to figure out all of those numbers to figure out what that net number is before debt service. Debt service is the monthly payments, the property taxes, the insurance, all of that. I need to figure out what my net number is prior to debt service. Once I have that number, what do I want to make on a monthly basis to make this a return that is worthwhile to me? If I want a 15% return, if I want a 20% cash on cash, whatever that number is, now I deduct that number from that net number. Now I know how much I can pay for debt service or the max allowable debt service number I can come up with. So the same way that you figure out the max allowable offer on the cash wholesale side, you can think of it like that on the creative finance side. What's my max allowable debt service number if we're structuring terms that I can pay a seller to still give me X amount of dollars per month in net proceeds to give me my 15% cash on cash or my 20, whatever that number is. And then because I already know my expenses, I have to work it backwards. I can't start at the terms and then hope my numbers on the back end make sense. Otherwise, I've wasted everyone's time at that point. There's no point in structuring numbers on something that you don't even know what you're going to do with the property or have any idea what that income or whatever it's going to be on this side of things, because you can create the best terms and now you're running your numbers. You're like, oh shit, there's no way that this makes sense. Now I got to go back to the seller, rework that. It's just a waste of time. Work your numbers backwards.
I thought creative was supposed to make it easier. You're making it harder, Matt.
It's easy. Just do 0% on everything. I think that's the way to go.
Zero down, 0%. You'll be
Yeah,
fine.
I think if you can do that, you're winning no matter what. Just do it for 0 down, 0% and 100-year balloon. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
But
And if
yeah,
you
I
need a
think
partner, you know who to hit up.
Bob, Bob's pockets,
Yeah.
Bob's
That's
pockets
a
for sure.
great Twitter name.
Bob's
Bob's
Pockets.
Pockets.
That'd be a great username. Yeah.
Bob's Pockets, and that's where he just
Or a business name for like lending or something like that.
Ooh,
I like
I like
that.
that one.
I like that.
Bobby Pockets.
Bobby Pockets.
I like that one. Like
I have a
hot
Uh,
question.
Bob Pockets.
hey, Pansy.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Um, do any of you guys know about like the LLC structures or anything?
Um,
What
in
exactly is the
what
question?
regards?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a holding LLC, and then I'm gonna partner up with someone, and like I have my a call out there with Prime is where I have my LLC, but they're not getting back to me soon enough. But I wanted to know if someone knew the best route. So if I'm partnering up with somebody and I already have a holding LLC, would this person and myself open another LLC under my holding, or would it be completely separate? I'm not sure.
Well, what I would say is so like your holding LLC would represent your membership in this new company. That would be my suggestion.
The holding LLC would be the registered agent.
Correct. That would be instead of Pansy Sleep, it would be your that company.
Okay, so I use the holding LLC and then I get another LLC with that person using my holding LLC's name.
I mean, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying that's what I would that's what I would do if it was me is I would represent myself as ownership in that company underneath the LLC that I currently have.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I'm just trying to, I know nothing about any of it. So I'm just trying to get some advice. So when I do get to speak to my representative at Prime, um, I know what to ask for, you know. So,
Ask
Mhm.
them, Pansy. If you're
I was
working
gonna
with
say
Prime,
that's why you're paying them.
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, I'm just having a hard time getting through with them. So,
This is why I tell everybody to go LegalZoom because they're literally like their customer service and everything's very good. Like that's why I always encourage people to go that route. Um,
Dan just dropped some serious game. That resource right there. You know what I'm saying? You got to listen up.
like
but if I'm
LegalZoom.
already with Prime though, and I open another LLC.
If you already paid them, then yeah. But I'm saying like that's why I go LegalZoom is why I encourage people because like they're like you have a direct attorney right there at your that you're paying for to get in contact with about entities. Like that understands and has access to all your documents, everything, all in a dashboard right there available to you.
Got
Um,
you.
so, I that's why I think that they're the best resource right now in terms of like, helping people who don't have like an attorney that you're working with specifically. Um, like, the best way to do it is really to have someone who you're working with, right? Like one on one. But
Right.
I think LegalZoom is like for the starting up entrepreneur. I would go LegalZoom for a trademark, LLC, S corp, C corp, all those things, and then like they can help set up trusts, whatever it is that you need, documentation. Like they got it all, and then they all have it all there in a dashboard for you, so you can access that information quickly at any time.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't even logged into the Prime Services account, so that
Just
it might have information there somewhere.
just be careful, like kind of doing like like branching out, doing all these entity things like right from the start, when you don't
Mhm.
really have like a concrete base. Because eventually, like if you get anywhere with anything, then you'll have to do entity restructuring at some point, which is what I'm doing right now, and it's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. Like it's taking a lot of my time. It's taking a lot of of my effort. Money being moved, money having to be wired, all these things. So um, it's just I would just say just be careful, like doing too many doing too many things. You know what I mean? Like make sure that
Mm.
whatever it is that you're doing, like whatever the thing is that you're doing in that entity is making money, and that there's a purpose to why you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah, there's
wouldn't.
a definitely a purpose for this
Okay.
entity. Um, that's why I'm trying to rush it. There's definitely a purpose. So I was
Okay.
just trying to get some advice of maybe what I'm looking for or whatever. Because I know nothing, but I appreciate you guys, your input.
Yeah, again, if you're with Prime right now, just go ask them. And if they're slow, um, you know, I don't know which numbers you have, but I'd be happy to share you the numbers that I have so you can reach out to them. But they normally answer within, at the latest within that business day for me. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
called yesterday and I never got a call back. Because they have their appointments set for like 2 weeks out, and I don't have that kind of time to wait 2 weeks for an
But
appointment.
if you're a member, you should have the email addresses of your account executive. So if you have that, if you email them, they respond much faster with email, just to let you know.
Okay, well, I do have some emails,
Yeah,
but
go
most of
check
them
it
are
out.
about my billing and whatnot. I haven't seen I don't even know the guy's
You should
name.
have
They
talked,
said
yeah, you should
Patrick.
have talked to someone. Okay, Patrick's one, yeah. You should have talked to someone at the very beginning when you got set up. That's
Yeah,
your
that was
contact.
a few years ago or so, and I don't even think the guy's name was Patrick then, honestly, to tell you the truth.
I wish there was
Yeah.
something we
Um,
could do to help, but it's like we don't really have any affiliation with that company, so we can't
yeah, no,
really.
I appreciate. I mean, you guys are helping me just be able to discuss it.
Sure.
So I appreciate all the help that you guys give.
Of
I
course.
figured if anybody could help me, that you guys would at least give me some of the questions or something, to ask. So,
Well, when you do get a chance to talk to them, give them your full scenario and tell them this is what's happening and what is the best way for me to move forward. Is it to put it under my holding LLC? Is it to create a new LLC? What would you do if you were in my position?
right. And that's pretty much my question. But so far, I've only gotten in touch with um, I guess an operator, whoever,
Mhm.
not my actual person. So it's like, that's the problem. I'm trying to find my emails to
Yeah, I
see.
would dig into my emails and, just try to find that. Or when you contact them, even that operator or whoever that person is, to ask them who's in charge of my account, and can I
Yeah, they
get their
just gave
email
me the
address?
name Patrick. They
Okay,
didn't give me
can I get his email address?
yeah, I didn't ask for the email. I should have probably asked for the email.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I'm looking at it right now to
Okay.
see if Patrick Romero, that's it.
Okay.
I
There you go.
swear the kid's name was something else though, but apparently not.
And if you want his email address, let me tell you how they do it. Hang on. So just put patrick@primecorporateservices.com.
Oh, okay, let me that down.
Try that first. And if that
Just
doesn't
his
work,
first name or
that's how mine is. Mine has only the first name. So try that first. But if it doesn't work, then call and ask for his email.
okay. I'm gonna try it. Uh,
Yesterday was a great day. I don't know if anybody else saw what I posted, but I locked a seller up for an Ovation Live.
I
And
saw
this
that
one
too.
this one is an interesting one because what happened was there was a wholesaler that ran this guy around for more than 30 days telling him that they were going to close, they were going to close. Closing day came, they had no buyer in place, and they lied to the guy saying it was a title issue, and I had explained to the gentleman that it was not a title issue, that they had likely not opened up title anywhere, and that whether or not they close on this property, he's entitled to $100 worth of earnest money. And yesterday, I was able to get this guy under contract for $15,000 less than what the wholesalers were promising him, and it's an ovation. And so, what is the opportunity that I am currently dealing with? It is a, oh, well, I got to get my charger here together. It is a situation where it's a hoarder house. There are tenants squatting in the property, and there are not too many comps. So I've got to list it on the MLS and hope that there's a cash buyer that would be interested in purchasing it. But I go to the MLS to see if the property is listed, and the seller tells me that they listed the property, yet they do not have an attorney in fact sign to be able to actually list this property, and they didn't work with an agent. They worked with a listing company, a flat fee listing company. And so what did John
Mm-hmm.
Johnson do? John Johnson picks up the phone, calls the listing, gets the wholesaler's information, and confronts the wholesaler, telling them that their contract is expired and that they need to take down this listing or I'll take it down. And so what did I do? I got the power of attorney signed for the property, which puts me in the position to have the authority to list or remove a listing for the property. I called that listing company and I had them remove the listing. So I should get it taken off the market because they didn't want to take it down. They were trying to lie to me, say, oh no, buddy, I don't know what you're talking about. We have a really good relationship with the seller. We just talked to him. We got an extension. No, you didn't. I just locked him up live. So I told her, I said, listen, you're clearly inexperienced. You're acting unprofessionally, and you are not going to close on this deal. And I hung up on the phone. I hung the phone up on him, and then I got right to work. I knew exactly what I was doing because we really do this business, and I got that attorney in fact signed, and I'm going to take that listing down whether they like it or not, and I will relist it with a real agent.
Congratulations. Very nice.
Did you have that conversation with the wholesalers live too?
No, that one was recorded, but it is documented, but it's not live. That one wasn't
It's in the
live.
vault.
It's in the
In the
vault.
vault.
That one's in the vault, but I'm sure the boys will see that. The boys will see that one.
Yeah, that sounds like one that I want to tune into.
Yeah.
Yes, that could definitely be a very entertaining conversation.
I just don't understand, how do you make it all the way to closing day without a buyer in place and then wait until that moment to try to ask for an extension for however long? I just don't understand the logic of that. Like, I feel like the logic in that is only selfish. You're thinking in your mind, we're at closing. The seller already thinks he's selling the property. He feels like he's at the finish line. Now is my best chance to ask for an extension because we're already here. We've already made it this far. What's another 2 weeks, or just stick with me for another. Like, it's only selfish behavior, I feel like, that would cause you to wait that long to ask for an extension without having a buyer in place. It's different if you had a buyer, somehow, some way, something happened right before closing, the buyer backs out, go shoe, whatever. There's things that are somewhat outside of your control. But if you never had one to begin with, up until that point, you waited till closing day.
No, and then
I
what's
hope you
worse
step in a
is
puddle.
this guy told me on the phone that he didn't have a buyer, and 2 days before it was supposed to close, he gets it listed on the MLS. What are you going to do with 2 days? There's no way you're going to perform. I don't even think they've really opened up escrow anywhere. And of course, everybody puts down $100 on the earnest money or whatever, but they probably don't even have $100 to give the guy. But
Yeah,
that's the
more than likely they didn't. They didn't open escrow.
no, they definitely
Yeah.
didn't. But
All the way
So,
up until that point.
all the way up till that point,
yeah,
they did
yeah,
not hear one
I
time.
bet you they haven't opened. Yeah.
The seller didn't hear one time, from any closing attorney. Hey, are you looking to actually sell this property? Calling, to make sure this is real. how are you supposed to close if you're not scheduled to close? You don't even know where to go sign closing documents. You don't have
Oh,
any
dude,
mobile notary coming out to you to notarize anything.
crazy. This is why I and we say, like, when we're talking to sellers, we have to establish ourselves, hopefully, as the professionals in that scenario and in that conversation. We are
Yes.
the ones that do this business on the daily, on the regular. We understand what we are supposed to do during a contract. We know sending out the purchase and sale agreement. We know going over that purchase and sale agreement. We know opening title. We know title search. We know all of these things that take place during a transaction. It is very likely that the seller that you're talking to is not in real estate full time. They may have bought a house 20 years ago, and that's the only time they've ever been involved in a real estate transaction since then. So they don't know what is to be expected. They're going to ask you, what are the next steps? What should I expect next? What are we doing next? They're going to be leaning on you to guide them through that transaction. So this guy, you could think of it in a way like, well, this seller's an idiot. He just sat around for 30 days and didn't ask any questions. He might not know what to be expected, and he might have had a good conversation and trusted that wholesaler to do the right thing and get that thing to the closing table like he told him he was going to do, because who knows what he was promised during those conversations. And this poor guy wasted X amount of time. Come closing day, he's like, I don't know where we're going. I don't even, no one's reached out to me. I have no idea what's going on. Just for them to list the property on the MLS right then and there, like, it's just crazy that people operate that way. And that's, you have to be the professional in those scenarios and in those conversations.
It's 100% true.
It's
Um,
wild.
and the worst part was, when he first reached out to me, I told him this. I said, listen, if you actually had complete confidence that this individual was going to close and purchase your property, we would not be having a conversation right now. What's stopping us from moving forward today? And he said, oh, well, I want to give him another shot. They're just asking, for 2 more weeks. I told him 2 weeks, what was the excuse? Oh, well, they're waiting on some closing documents from their lender. Okay. First of all, I already saw what price they had it under contract for. It was $15, way too high. It wasn't even listed on the MLS at that point. I didn't see it on Investor Lift. I doubt that they have the same resources, that I do to actually get a deal sold. So their buyer pool is limited. There are no real comparables in that area. So the only exit strategy would be, list this on the MLS and get it at a deep enough discount for you to be able to cover all of the costs associated with listing and selling it. So it goes to show, like, when you're first, I don't know if these guys were first getting started or if they've been doing a lot of deals or what the case was, but this was definitely unprofessional. And when you are first getting started and you come across a situation that is more difficult than it appears to be, work with somebody that actually has the experience and actually knows what to do. I've had multiple people recently reach out with the same scenario where they want some help. I tell them exactly what I'm willing to do and the time that it's going to take. And then what happens is they say, oh, well, I've got some people walking the property. Let me give you an update next week. Next week rolls around. I say, hey, what's going on? Did this ever get moved? No, I'm in a terrible situation now, and my back's against the wall. We don't have much time, and I don't know if the seller will extend with us. And I tell them, look, this is what we need to do today for this deal to close. And sometimes you got to just listen because you think you might get 100% of the watermelon, but you end up with zero when you could be splitting you could be splitting a watermelon, but you get a grape or you get nothing, right? And so that's one thing that I think helped me when I was first getting started was I wasn't afraid to break bread. And a lot of the deals that I first got started with were JVs, not because I wasn't direct to seller, but because I had a deal and I needed a buyer and I worked with somebody, or I had buyers and they had a deal and I'd work with somebody. But there's power in collaboration. The only other call that I have to make literally right now, and I'm not sure if you guys want to hear the call live or what, but I've got a guy in Cedar Rapids who was on the fence about signing with us because, he wanted to talk to an attorney, then come to find out, I got back on the phone. He had some questions about the novation agreement. And this is why it's so important to know what you're asking somebody to agree to and to be able to respond to whatever objection or question or concern that they have associated with that agreement. And so with the novation agreement, there is also an indemnification agreement. And so the way that I had explained it to him, take care, Bob. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for everything you do for us in the community each and every single day.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but thank you. I appreciate you and
Send
everybody
off.
else. Wow, I
See you,
know.
Bob.
I'm gonna have a great weekend. Talk
I
to you
hope
guys later.
so.
See you,
And
Dan.
so take care. Take care, Dan. Thank you.
Send them off.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Dan. You're an amazing, amazing individual. If you haven't already, get signed
it's
up.
all,
Apex
it's all
CRM.
good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Man, he
I
had
was
too much
kind of
sake
slipping.
last night.
I
Send
was
that man off.
slipping out. Yeah. I'm going back to bed. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I got work to do. Bye, guys.
Take care. And the way that I pretty much explained and reassured the seller was, look, there is a clause on the as is purchase and sale of the first agreement, which is the novation agreement, the as is purchase and sale, which is number 9. So I knew exactly where to direct his attention on the call to the subsection number 9 under assignment and novation. And I had explained to him that the indemnification agreement outlines and reiterates what we already agreed to on the original contract. And it goes into more detail explaining how we're going to find a third party, right? And I'm completely transparent about the whole process, which is important as well. We will find a third party, we will handle the marketing, and all you will need to do is cooperate with us in the replacement agreement if we use one. For example, we use a conventional lender, an FHA loan, and you will just need to sign. But it doesn't affect what you net at the end of the day. And I reiterated that and I gave him that security. And so he appreciated that. He told me that he wanted me to give him a call around 11 his time. And at the end of the call, I really tried to break down all of the excuses as to why we couldn't get pen to paper today. And he ultimately said that he wanted to speak to a lawyer to see, is what I'm saying actually the case? And so he also revealed that the lawyer or the attorney that he had reached out to quoted him for a $350 1 hour call to review the agreement. And I asked him, I said, okay, well, how about I get you in touch with our closing attorney that we've closed deals with, and you can ask him about the way that we perform and if we actually close and if there's anything that you should be concerned about. We called up the closing attorney in advance. He said, yeah, we do this all the time. It's good to go. You can call your title company guys and do this same thing when you close deals for sellers to be able to reach out to them and be reassured that you are a legitimate company that actually closes deals. And so he told me yesterday that he was going to reach out and he wanted me to give him a call around 11 his time. It is now 11 his time. I want to see, I'm not sure, if anybody wants to see this call, it's running a little late here, but if anybody wants to see this call, we can go ahead and run the call live.
I think people are going to want to see the call. Yeah, I think two-parter. I think one thing from the previous, again, that's why, sellers have these crazy demands sometimes as well of like, I want 10,000 earnest money, or I want 10% for earnest money, non-refundable day one. And then we all come into these communities and laugh at these sellers for asking these things. But then you have to realize why they're asking these things, because they're getting burned by idiot wholesalers who are doing these types of things. So you're only making it harder for everybody else around you and even yourself by doing shitty business and doing what those people have done. So if you continue on the right track and doing good business by people, we will limit those types of things that take place. And secondly, I agree, you need to know and understand the contracts that you're sending people. I talked about it before. I did a 2-hour Zoom call with me, a listing agent, and 2 sellers where I went over line item by line item, my creative contract. I wish I recorded it so that way I just have it for future people to send to so I can go over it so I don't have to do 2 hours. But 2 hours reading it and then explaining it in layman's terms what that exactly means and what they're agreeing to, them having questions, me having to ask, going over the assignment portion of the contract, why I need that in there, live in front of the seller and the listing agent, handling all of those conversations. A lot of people just download contracts from here or somewhere else and then just start sending them out. And then if you get questioned on a contract and you don't have an answer, do you think that you're setting yourself up to look like a legitimate professional individual if you don't even understand or know the contracts that you're sending out? likely not, you're probably not setting yourself up to, close a deal or have the highest chance of closing a deal. Yep,
Very
James, I
true.
had a seller like that. He's asking for a higher EMD because of what he experienced before. Exactly. I mean, that's usually people's request for higher EMD is for that. They want to see that you're a true legitimate individual, and likely it's because they were burned before. Again, most sellers, a lot of them only purchased something 15, 20 years ago, so they probably would be okay with $100 earnest. They don't really understand so if they're asking for something ridiculously high and they want it non-refundable or whatever, it's probably because they've been burned before.
Yep. 100%. So we got a couple people hopping in. We're about 60 people in the audience. I'll guess we'll wait till we get to about 70, and I'll go on ahead. I'll share my screen. Hopefully, the individual picks up, and then I'll give him a call live for everybody to see, and you guys can kind of see how I actually navigate these calls and that we really do this business. I'm going to pull up the DocuSign right now. It's very important that you have the DocuSign in front of you as well when you're requesting somebody's signature. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now, and we will get him on the call. Let's see here. Come on, Tom. Let me see. Sometimes sellers leave text messages. I'm going to call him 2 times. Nope. So Tom didn't pick up the phone. It's a part of the game. You don't want to push him too much because this guy is the one that wanted to talk to the attorney, but he did tell me to give him a call around this time. So I guess I will go live at some point and close him. Um, be on the lookout for that ping because when he picks up the phone, I'll pop back in here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the number one most valuable real estate community in existence. Matt, tell us a little bit about what you've got planned. You're coming out with a new show. You want to know if people in the community want to see what it's like to be the king of creative finance.
You hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. The Discord was telling me my mic was. Yeah, so I sent out an announcement yesterday in Discord and on my Facebook where I asked. I know we've been doing these morning calls. You guys have been doing these morning calls forever. And I think it's fantastic. And I think the community has evolved because of these calls, because of all the individuals that come up on these stages and talk about their backgrounds and things like that. So it started as wholesaling, and then it goes creative, and it goes to all these different things that we've talked about: short-term rentals, pad split, all the different avenues. And so we were talking behind the scenes to gauge interest to see if people would want to do let's just call it weekly. We can do a morning call, afternoon call, whatever it is, but based around creative financing, structuring creative finance, whether it's subject to wraps, lease options. We can go over Section 8. I've been a Section 8 landlord for 10 years. I gave a little bit of my background in the post that I made yesterday, just in case people don't know me or they're not familiar. I've been in real estate for 10, going on 11 years. I've personally utilized all sorts of loan products, DSCR loans, commercial loans. I've done cash purchases, creative. I have a multi-million-dollar portfolio, single families, 2 to 4 units, 6 units, Section 8 landlord. I've completed just about 70 creative transactions in the last 8 or so months, which resulted in 400,000 plus assignment fees. What else? Creative finance being subject to wraps, lease options. I sold 3 million of my personal portfolio through creative finance and hybrid just in this last year. So nobody understands a seller's position in creative financing as much as I do, because I'm not only a buyer and a wholesaler for creative, I'm a seller as well. I've been in both sides of the table. So when I'm talking and negotiating with sellers and listing agents, I can put myself in their shoes in those scenarios and understand where they're coming from. For 5 years, I owned and operated a ISA appointment setting company that ran 10 to 15 callers. We were doing 200 to 250 million dollars in booked appointments every single year for that 5 year period. We had the largest commercial roofing company in Southwest Florida at that time for that 5 year period. We actually booked $1 billion worth of appointments for that company. So in the posts and in Facebook, I put all the screenshots, video testimonials, all of that from that time period. Um, I used to do a video series called So You Want to Be a Landlord, where I would give the behind the scenes of what it's actually like being a landlord, not the flashy checks and the closings and all that kind of shit. It was the actual pipes bursting, trashed units, all the different things that you might not see elsewhere. Um, so all of that experience, being able to put it into a weekly or bi-weekly call where people can come in and we can just chop it up about creative. You got deals that you want to, put on the table and see if it's a good deal. Do you want to learn how to structure creative in general, whether it's subject to, whether it's seller finance, hybrids, lease options, whatever it is, we can break down each of those creative aspects. We can break down what is a subject to, what is all of the different intricacies of a subject to or a wrap. Because what I realized and what kind of caused me to make the post in general is creative finance has been around forever, but it's a lot of the leaders in the space now have only been in real estate as a whole for maybe 6 to 24 months at max. And I think that that's great. But when you're talking about creative finance, especially creative finance where there's an underlying mortgage or assignments and things like that, um, having somebody that has a longer, extensive background in real estate where they've seen a lot more over the course of 10 years, I think is more beneficial than someone that's only been in it for 6 to 24 months. Maybe they took a course and now they're teaching others how to do creative. It's just very dangerous in a sense with certain individuals. And so I just want to offer my services, my resources, everything else to help hopefully put creative finance, continue it on hopefully the right track, in that situation. I know a lot of people as well are working on their first creative finance deals. They're just starting out. So hopefully putting them on the right track to be able to get their first deal and do it the correct way. Because a lot of people are doing them the wrong way, unfortunate.
I think that's important, and I really appreciate you stepping up and wanting to do that. Because I see you as an influence, in the space, and I know that when people get a chance to see you and learn from you, you're going to be able to lay a really good foundation for them to follow.
Yeah, and I also have, we saw the vault. Like I looked on my Loom account yesterday. I have 211 videos in my Loom. I would say 150 of those are recorded calls between me and sellers or me and listing agents or me doing conference calls with sellers and listing agents solely on creative deals. So whether it's a subject to a lease option, wraps, whatever it is, it's me for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 10 minutes at a time in each video going over so you can hear the ins and outs of those conversations, what you need to say, what you don't say, how those conversations go, all of that kind of stuff. So again, gauging interest of who would actually want to come to that show on a weekly basis or by whatever we decide to be. And is it going to actually move the needle for you if we do a show like that?
I 100% think so. I know for without a doubt.
I had a screenshot of the Loom account, but yeah, I think it'll be fun if we do it.
What day do you
Signed up
think
for this.
would work for you, Matt?
Same with this. I'll carve out, the same way that we all that talk on stage, and you guys have been doing it more than me lately. But when I was doing it more, I just specifically was like, all right, 10:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time is the time I carve out. I'll do that. So whatever we decide to do, whatever works best for everybody, I'll just carve out that 1 hour or whatever we end up doing in that period of time. So whatever makes the most sense.
Well, you let me know, man. This is your show, bro. You're running the show here.
No, that's not my YouTube. That's my Loom account. So Loom is a platform that you can use to record videos. So you can record your screen, you can record yourself while recording your screen. So there was a period of time that whenever I was having creative finance calls with agents and things like that, I was recording all of the conversations. So I haven't done it in a little bit, but like I said, I probably have anywhere from 100 to 150 videos for different properties, different listing agents, different sellers. Some are good. Some got the most of them. We got the deal done, but there are some in there that completely went sideways. That you get. There's a couple that ton of objections, especially on the subject to stuff. Talking to listing agents that have no idea what you're talking about. They think it's the riskiest thing in the world. So I mean, you're talking objection after objection after objection. So there's that, and I don't know what I'm going to do with those. So we've talked about it before, possibilities, but
We know
again,
what
that's
you need
just
to
to
do with that.
show. Yeah, that's just to show. Again, if you're not familiar with me or whatever, that's me. That's my background. That's what I'm really doing this on a daily basis. I have, I don't even know, tens and tens of hours of recorded calls for just creative. I don't do cash. I don't do wholesaling it for cash properties, anything like that. I only right now I'm doing creative, whether it's subject to lease options or wraps. And again, 70 in the last 8 or so months, just, no real team. Um, and that resulted in just about 400 grand in assignments. And so now we've added wraps and lease options. So, the sky's the limit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Paul, I would say that's correct. I think my benefit and how I've succeeded quicker than maybe others is because I have the investor background. So that's like my handicap, that's my edge. And that just comes from time and all of that. I've been doing it for 10 years and I started as an investor. I've only been wholesaling for a year. So I literally was able to pick it up so quick and get involved with it because it's easier for me to understand a deal, underwrite a deal, talk to investors. Even if I'm talking to a listing agent, I understand the concept so well that I can break it down in a way that they understand it. And that's only because I was an investor first and I understood that side of things prior to jumping in, where I understand the difficulties of if you're just starting out in real estate and you don't really even understand real estate lingo or how to talk investor talk, be very difficult. They're going to ask you one question and you're going to get confused. You're going to answer it wrong or you're going to get stumped. So I get it. That's why I've always been a KYS. Know your shit. Know the lingo. Know everything as much as you can prior to jumping in and start having those conversations. So again, I want to use those calls as that opportunity. You're talking to people, you're getting questions over and over again. Let's go over them. Let's figure out different things, different objections that you're getting. Let's break down what a subject to is, what wraps are, what lease, whatever you're interested in. We can break all of that down so you're a better informed person during those conversations and interactions, whether it's for yourself or for wholesaling. Yeah, I'd like to learn more about potential risk subject to and how to do it the right way. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I initially wanted to do this is for that specific. Everything else is going to encompass it, everything else that we can talk about, but that is probably one of the, if not the main reason why I want to do it. Um, is because I notice that a lot of people are doing subject twos the wrong way or they have the wrong intentions when doing them. And it is one of the most dangerous breaking up that amortization. It's one of the most dangerous structures and purchase strategies that you can do. Um, and especially if you're doing just a straight up subject to with no protections, no nothing, then there's a lot of false promises being made to sellers out there, and it's dangerous. So, and again, a lot of people that are regurgitating what they heard someone else say 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I just had to quote unquote yell at somebody yesterday for telling people about due on sale clause insurance again and all of these different things. And it's just like, it's crazy that this information is still getting spewed around to people who don't know. So if you don't know any better and you hear that, you're going to go, oh, great. That thing that you just told me exists. So now I'm going to go tell sellers and everybody else this thing because someone in this group told me, who's only been doing this for 6 to 24 months at most, and now I'm going to tell everybody about it as if it's true, and then I'm going to perform as if that's true. I'm going to close deals like that's true. I'm going to do all of these things, and it sets a very risky precedent in those scenarios and situations. So there's just better ways to do things. I'm not saying that my way is the best way or it's the foolproof way or anything. There are just better ways to do things that you might already be doing.
Well, I know I'm going to get a lot of value from that. I can't wait, to see the people in here see it as well. And you know what I've said about you, man. I think that you got the potential to be bigger than
Oh,
Pace
sorry.
Morby, man. I'm so serious, guys. I'm so serious. Like I really see it. So I think this.
I'm
If
sorry.
you listen, man, if you wanted it, bro, you'd have it for real. And I think this could be that first step.
Um, so what we'll do is I made it in the chat yesterday, but we did get we got a decent amount of responses and reactions to it, but it was in the chat, so it probably got lost as well in conversation. So what we're gonna do is we'll make an announcement in the announcement channel, and if you are interested in being and interacting and being in that show, whether it's in the audience asking questions, I want it to be something that we actually do and people participate in. I don't really want to do it if I don't need to go up there and pat myself on the back and talk about myself for an hour and then get off there. I want it to be for everybody an interaction with questions and deals and all of the things that it can be, especially on a brand new topic to a lot of people. There should be a lot of questions and a lot of engagement. If there's not going to be that, then I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste my time either. So we'll drop it in the announcement channel. If you're remotely interested or you think that you would show up, then give it a like, give it whatever comment that you'll go, and then we'll start setting it up. We'll get the details together, and
I
then I'll live
already
stream it to my Facebook, so it'll be good.
I already know where I'm going to be promoting this event.
Uh oh. Uh-oh. See, you make me nervous because it's like I want this to be nice, and I already know the pot stirrer is correct. But John is a pot stirrer. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So we'll see. And I think the industry needs it. It doesn't need, obviously there's fucking you throw a baseball, you hit 10 gurus and mentors and coaches and everybody's knows everything. And I don't want to be another one of those guys. And that's why I've not done this up until this point because I have this false sense of like I don't want people to lump me in with that. But I want to try to do it the right way. And again, you might be doing it already, but there's better ways to be doing it. And I've always just been a no fluff type of person. Like again, I can drop links in here of like, you want to be a landlord? And I'm showing you my investment property and it looks like a fucking bomb went off inside. And I'm telling you, this is my fault. I didn't check up on this tenant for 6 months. This, that, and the other, I will give you the real deal of all of the back stuff that people aren't going to tell you because everybody else wants to make it look nice and easy so they can sell you on something, so they can sell you on a court, whatever it is. And there is a great part to it, but there is a big chunk of bullshit that you need to understand as well before you do it and while you're doing it. That's it. I don't want to. You can be done.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you all, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. So, Matt, we'll talk about the days, and I really want to push this as something like on the IG and that kind of stuff. That's kind of where we've been lacking. And if you haven't already, make sure to follow us on Instagram at REI Revolution. I popped it in the side chat so you can see on our story all of the announcements and posts we post there. We do have a Facebook, but we don't really use Facebook at all.
Just us old folks use Facebook. You take care of the IG, I'll take care of the Facebook.
Would you, Matt? We could figure something out.
Only old heads are on Facebook for sure. So that's why if we do this, I'll live stream it to my Facebook and that'll bring my old head Facebook friends. to the community. It'll be a nice transition.
Fantastic. Feel free, Matt. I think a couple people are asking about your Facebook. Drop, all your links. People can get connected with you on there. And definitely, guys, invite somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us, and especially somebody you think would benefit from hearing Mr. Matt Riley speak about creative finance and instruct people on how to do it correctly.
I look forward to it. We'll do these morning calls, and then we'll figure that out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the #1 most valuable real estate community in existence. If you haven't already, please consider inviting somebody you think will benefit from being in proximity with us. Send them the link, reirev.com or discord.gg/reirev.
Peace.